Today I posted a story on my IG for y'all to drop some questions about the military or finance, and I'll answer them in a video. Y'all straight up blew me up all day. I got a ton of questions to look at, so that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to read these questions and answer as much as I can before this video gets too long. But before we get into it, definitely hit that subscribe button, drop a like. If you don't follow my IG, click the link in my bio and it will be in that link below. Honestly, I was kind of impressed with these questions too, so I appreciate all the love and everyone's taking their time and asking these questions. But the first one right out the back is pretty dope. Nikki asks, what investment platform do you use? And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I use a couple. I use Robinhood. I love Robinhood. I never had a problem with it. I think it's the easiest platform to learn how to invest with. It's how I learned how to invest. I personally really love just how it functions, how it looks, how I can just instantly have money to play with. But other than Robinhood, I also use Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab is where I keep my Roth IRA. Robinhood is where I keep just an individual stock account. So this is just money I have left over that I throw in and see what I could do with. Really, it's my more risky portfolio. Espinoza Angie 0228. Our soon-to-be Marine wants to use his VA loan to get us a house. Suggestions. So I don't know if this is your child, this is your spouse, whatever the case may be. But if you're looking to buy a property and you're joining the military, it's good to understand what comes with the property, like all the expenses, all the finances that go into buying a property. So the home, what the principal is going to be, do you have enough in your savings to actually afford a home? These are all questions that you want to ask yourself before you get a little serious. It's up to you to figure out what you're comfortable with, what type of money you have in your bank account currently, how much you get paid each month, and can you actually afford a home? Not just the home price, but what if you need to repair the roof? What if a pipe busts? You know, you got to think of those as well. Those also go into purchasing a home. The VA home is a great benefit and it's a really powerful tool, but make sure you are financially comfortable enough to be able to purchase a home, because you don't want something to go wrong and it land you in some serious trouble. Military miles and points. This is a great account, by the way. Shouts out to them. This is more of a statement, but I thought I would mention it because it is something y'all need to know. So I think understanding LES is so important. We've been getting less OHA for 6 months. So if you're not in the military, OHA is practically BAH, basic housing allowance, but for overseas members. And a LES is a leave earning statement. So every time we get paid, every month, you're going to receive a LES, and it's going to go over all the money you've gotten, all the taxes being pulled out. It even shows your TSP contribution. So it's important to understand your LES and how to read your LES. And if you have more questions about that, maybe I can go over mine in the next video. Ayan Carry On. Ayan Carry On. If I pronounce your name wrong, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Forgive me, I'm terrible at pronouncing names. How/when do you qualify to apply for the VA loan for housing? That is a great question. You automatically qualify for the VA home loan after 90 consecutive days of active duty service. Usually it's after BMT and tech school, you'll have 90 days. Mason Har 45, where to start when trying to learn about finance? This is a great question. I love this question. Really and truly, I'll tell you how I started and maybe that can help you out. So I knew nothing about finance until I opened the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book changed my life. Really great book, easy to read, easy to understand. Like I said, this changed my life forever and it got me into the financial world. So if you're just starting out, I recommend reading that book. Yanulik, how does military housing work? So basically, if you're active duty, you can live on base or off base. If you live on base, you don't receive BAH, but you don't pay utilities. You don't pay rent, utilities, or anything like that. If you live off base, you get BAH, which is housing allowance. If you're overseas, same deal. You can live on and off base. Some bases won't allow you to live off base. It just depends on the location overseas. If you're just coming into the military and you're enlisting, you're going to be in the dorms until you get to E4 in the Air Force. Some of the other branches like E5, E6, EMC 2BK. Best military benefit hack that few utilize within the military or outside. This is a great question. I'm going to say AF Cool. I always talk about the VA loan, and a lot of people talk about the VA loan, but no one really touches on that AF Cool. AF Cool, you get $4,500 the whole length of your service to get certificates. So this could be like cyber certificate. You could become a financial advisor. I believe you can get your pilot's license through this program as well. A lot of people do not utilize it. I just started looking into getting a certificate through AF Cool, and I've been talking to a lot of people, even master sergeants, and they've never dealt with it at all. So I feel like no one really touches on that. Hey Hyde 03, is it possible to get into OTS without access to ROTC or the Air Force Academy? It's my dream. Yes, it's 100% possible. It is very competitive though, but it's not impossible. I would contact an officer recruiter and they will give you more information about that. We got Fernand Flo. Can you talk about the reserves, please, and how to be successful financially? So the reserves is just part-time, but there's two ways you can serve part-time. There's guard and then there's the reserves. So guard, you serve at the state level, so you get state and federal benefits. But in the reserves, you're working at the federal level. And sorry if you hear that jet, and for the financial part, at the end of the day, to be successful, you have to build good money habits. And I think good money habits start from being disciplined, being in the right mindset, and educating yourself. Steph asks, recommendations for someone who just bought their first home and wants to have a good budget. Well, something that worked for me when I first started budgeting is I would physically write down my budget. And it started by every time I spent $1, I would come home and write it in a journal, and I would categorize it by hand, and I would match it with the budget I made. Something about writing it down physically really helped me out, because if I was doing well, it felt really good. And if I was doing bad, it felt really bad because I was writing it down. Something about doing it on an app, it's like I can close it and put it away. But when I'm physically writing it down, it was like a game changer. Now I use apps because I'm pretty good with my budget now. But when I was like first building a budget and I was pretty bad at managing my money, I would always write it down, and that really changed my money habits. But as far as budgeting though goes, it really just depends on your personal spending. You know, I try not to harp on the $3 purchases. No one really cares about that. It's the more expensive purchases, the $30,000 purchases, the $15,000 purchases. What are you spending $1,000 on a month? How much money are you spending on food or going out? That stuff is what's going to add up. The $3 purchase at the gas station is really not going to affect you that much unless it's a constant thing. And when it's a constant thing, it's more of a mental discipline type of thing. Gio Mula hit me with the, how do you buy a car in the military? Like, what are the best deals and lowest insurance rates? You know, as far as buying a car in the military, I would have to say, wait till you get out of tech school. If you don't have a car right now, wait till you get out of tech school and get to your first base, because chances are you might not even need a car. You might be stationed overseas, and when you get stationed overseas, cars are ridiculously cheap. So you don't want to buy a car in tech school and then just turn around and have to sell it because you're going overseas, or put it in storage because you're going overseas. When you come back, you have to buy a new battery and all this stuff. Just wait till you go to your first duty station. When you get to your first duty station, there will be Facebook groups for the base. So for instance, let's say here in Misawa, there's one Misawa yard sale. And on Misawa yard sale, there's cars, there's lawnmowers, there's grills, there's couches, there's everything you can imagine, and it's dirt cheap because people are constantly PCSing, trying to get rid of their stuff. So I imagine that's at every base, because even if you're stateside, there's people PCSing overseas. They're probably trying to get rid of their car real quick. And if you're a new airman, that's the way to go. As far as interest rates, you're going to have to shop around. There's plenty of ways to look at that through Google. Find yourself a good rate. Talk around. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, I'm going to shop around. All right, we got Brian HZ778. What do you recommend doing if you enter with no credit card and make one at BMT? I'm assuming you're trying to say is, what do you do if you're coming in with no credit card and you want one after BMT because you're not going to be able to get one during BMT. You want a starter credit card. There's plenty of starter credit cards on the market right now. The best resource to look at is nerdwallet.com. They're a really good source. Just type in best beginner credit cards, nerdwallet.com on Google, and it will be a link, a pop-up. Look at it. It will show all the pros and cons and what they think. And honestly, really good company, nerdwallet.com. This is not a sponsor, by the way. Evan Rogers. I went to college with Evan. It's been a long time, Brody. He wants to know, how difficult is it to become a pilot in the Air Force? It just depends on what type of pilot you want to be. There's fighter pilots, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult because you can get slotted to be a pilot and fail some of the tests that are requirements for pilots to pass. My last PAO was slotted to be a pilot, and he was actually a washout, so he became a PAO. Honestly, every branch is always looking for pilots. So like I said, the getting slotted may not be too difficult. It's going to be if you physically are capable, which most people are. I'm not trying to say that like it's extremely hard. No, most people are, but you never know how your body's going to react to some of the stuff they're going through. If the noise is bothering you, I'm sorry. They're currently flying. Joe Cat asked a couple of questions. For the sake of the video, it's already getting kind of long. I'm only going to answer one. I apologize. Maybe next time I'll get to the others. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how easy is it to close on a house with the VA loan? Now, this depends on your lender and your agent. It's imperative you go with a lender and an agent that have experience with the VA home loan. That will make the process a whole lot easier. It will be a breeze, because the people that don't understand it and never dealt with it, that's when you're going to have a lot of trouble using it. Tanya Sander Manges. I'm married in the reserves and have a civilian job. How should I save/spend, use my drill pay? This is a great question. So if you're talking about drill pay, obviously you're going to go guard or reserve. Now, I don't know if, what your finances look like, so it's kind of hard to answer this question. But if I were to join the guard or reserve, I will be investing 100% of my drill pay. If I'm not investing it, I'm saving it for property. We're actually on the last couple. Again, thank you guys for asking all these questions. I really do appreciate it. And I'm actually enjoying this. So I hope you are enjoying this too. Maybe we can keep doing it. But 760L Spam. How are you enjoying life while in the military? This is a great question. And honestly, I saw this question this morning and I had to think about it because, I'll be straight up with you guys. Like I said, I don't BS with you. When I joined the military at first, I came in with a college degree. And I enlisted. So it was a little hard and it took a long time to finally adjust. But now that I'm adjusting and I'm getting out more, I've saved a lot and I've invested a lot and I've really made the most out of this enlistment. I've grown to enjoy it. I like my position in life. I actually really do love the military. I'm not going to lie. I really do enjoy being in the military. It gives you a sense of purpose. You meet a lot of great people from all over the world and you get a lot of good benefits. You just got to utilize them, guys. You got to utilize them. And you got to educate yourself on what you can do with these benefits. And that's why I made this channel. But like I said, I've enjoyed my life. Me and my wife have traveled a lot. We live in Japan. We've been to Thailand. We're going to go to Korea. We're traveling. We're making the most out of it. The base, when I got to my base, it was really tough because it's kind of isolated. So it was really tough for not only me, but my wife. It was hard for her to find a job at first. But we made the most out of it. It's helped us grow a lot as not only a couple, but as individuals. I honestly can say I really enjoyed my military experience. All right. We got Cat Falcon. She said, any advice for finances coming in with dependents? Now, I don't know if you mean children or spouses or whatever the case may be, but if it's spouses, y'all need to be on the same page. Y'all are a team. You know how they preach wingman this, wingman that, and BMT? That's your forever wingman. Me and my wife are like this. We have the same goals in life. We have no problem doing what we need to do to get to the point where we want to be. And that's how it should be. And if you're talking about kids, I personally don't have kids. Timothy Davis, 27. Details on TSP, specifically regarding how you can use the money, funds, stocks, bonds, etc. With the TSP, it's very limited. I'm going to be honest. It's been very limited on the amount of things you can put your money into. That is one of the cons of the TSP, in my opinion. As far as using this money, you can't really use this money until you're 59 and a half. That's when you're going to be able to pull it out. This is just me. I'm not really hands-on with my TSP. Honestly, I just put money in the C fund and I forget about it, because my Roth IRA is where I put more thought into, of course. And then I have my individual account, like I mentioned before. And that's where I'm actually doing swing trades and stuff like that. So as far as my TSP, I really don't pay much mind to it. I just went all into the C fund and I'm just watching it grow. And honestly, it's doing pretty well. I think I'm up like 12% right now. All right. So RLT.po, going to BMT with back pain. So this is not a question. This is definitely a statement. I'm sorry you're going to BMT with back pain. I hope it goes away, because that sucks. And I know when you go to BMT, you might experience more back pain because those beds are not comfortable and those pillows are paper thin. Your back might be hurting more just arriving at BMT. Now, I wish you the best. I'm sorry that that's going on. I hope everything's okay and it heals throughout BMT. And that finishes my questions for today. I got to almost everybody's question. Thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed doing this. So I will be posting another story on my IG soon. So if you don't follow me, definitely hit that link below and it'll lead you to my IG. And there I'll post a story for you to ask me questions and I'll answer them like I did in this video. If you want me to keep doing this, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. But it's getting late and your boys got work tomorrow and I keep doing this for you guys. Look, it's already 19:45 and I wake up at freaking 5 a.m. But it's all right. You know, I got to help you out, and I know I wanted questions answered when I was going through, so I'm just trying to do my best to give you advice. Like I've said, I'm not a recruiter. I do not care if you join or not. I'm just trying to paint the picture the right way. All right. Y'all have a good one.